Today is the first of a few videos I'm going to be doing on projectors such as this Formovie Theatre. But today's video is going to be on the XGODY X1. Now this projector is a true 1080p projector. It can produce images of 120, 150 inches and it's only £150 or $180. Let's check it out. So the projector that we're looking at today is the XGODY X1, this one here. It is a sub $200 projector. This one at the moment is $180 with a voucher on Amazon, which I'll stick in the video description, or you can buy it directly from their website worldwide. This one is very interesting because it is a true full HD projector, 1080p projector. So it's going to be very interesting for me to get this out and have a look at it and see how well it performs. Now if you have a look on Amazon or eBay or any of the online sites, you're going to find that there is a lot of budget projectors available, but what you're also going to find is that they're riddled with misinformation. There's some very specific specifications which are very important when it comes to projectors, such as this one, like the resolution, for example. I did say on the intro that this is a 1080p native projector because it is, but some projectors state that they are a specific resolution and they're not. Now if you look at the box on this, you're going to see that it says UHD projector, ultra high definition, but it's not because it's a 1080p projector. So XGODY is being a bit naughty by having that up on there. And if you have a look on the side here, you can also see it says 8K, but both of these mean something different. It doesn't mean that this is an 8K resolution projector, but what it actually means is that it is capable of playing back 8K content. That content will still be 1080p when it actually gets projected onto the screen, and that might be why UHD is up here as well, because it's capable of playing back 4K content. Anyway, this is the minefield that we have when we're dealing with these budget projectors online, and I'm going to explain that as we go along looking at this particular projector. So I'm going to get it out of the box, show you what it is, have a play with it, and then we're going to test it on a few different areas to see if it's worth buying. But the point of these projectors is you can get a really big screen for very little money when you're dealing with projectors. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. And here's what it looks like. It's a nice lightweight device. You got some buttons up on the top here. They're not capacitive touch. You can actually press them. They've got a nice click sound. On this side we have the power lead, and we also have a focusing wheel, just the lens on the front, and 8K video decode on the front here as well. On this side we have two USB inputs, two USB ports, an AV in and a headphone jack output. And then on the underneath we have the 4 rubber feet, and we also have this mount here, so we can actually mount this on a tripod if we want to, which is great. But the other reason for this is that there's a foot that you can screw in and you can adjust the height of it, so you can have it at the right tilt so that it projects nicely onto the wall or the screen that you're using. It comes with a remote control, comes with a HDMI cable and a power cable, but the power cable is for the USA standard. If you live elsewhere in the world, don't worry, because it just uses a standard figure of eight electrical connection. So you can just use any old cable that you have lying around for that. And it does run on any voltage, 220, 110, so wherever you are in the world, it'll be fine. Right, let's go and set it up. So what I've done is I've mounted my projector on one of the old tripods that I have, camera tripods, because it just screwed nicely into the mounting hole underneath. You can just place it on any surface, or you can mount it on the ceiling. All of that is possible with this projector as well, but it was just easier for me as I had this tripod to stick it on that. Before I switch on and show you what's going on, have a look at this. Now, as you can see at the top of this projector here, the buttons are actually lit up, and that's really good because if you think about it, projectors are generally used in dark environments and you do need to be able to see them. Anyway, let's switch it on and see what it does. And here it is. Now this is a 52-inch projection, and the projector is 66 inches away from the wall. Now the projector is actually capable of throwing images up to say 120 inches, but because it's a standard throw projector, obviously the projector needs to be further away from the wall. The further you get the projector away from the wall, the larger the image will become. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the other setup functionality. There is a wheel on the side which is used for focusing. I'll just show you how that impacts the screen here. So you can see, if it was further away from the wall, I'd be having to focus it differently, and that looks fairly sharp. Right, let's adjust the Keystone. So if we move along to Keystone, and we go to 4-point Keystone, so this gives us the ability to make this straight. So I can individually move each of these 4 corners in or out so that I can get the image straight and exactly how I want it. This is especially important if you have a projector screen, because you want to make sure that each of the 4 corners match each of the 4 corners of your projector screen. Now this is a native 1080p projector, and that means that it is nice and sharp. You can get lots of very nasty cheap budget projectors which have 720p or even 480p, and they look absolutely terrible. Now this one is actually quite sharp, and it's nice to look at. Now from a brightness perspective, this is fairly bright. Now don't forget, this is a dark room. If you had daylight and it was fighting against ambient light, you know, that's when you're going to start to see the colors fading and the image sort of washing out, which is the same as most projectors. When we talk about brightness, there's one particular statistic which stands up above everything else, and that is ANSI lumens. Other people have tested and found it has around 350. So that gives you a general idea of where it stands from a brightness perspective. ANSI lumens are important if you're intending on using a projector during the day. The more ANSI lumens you have, the better it's going to look against ambient light. The other thing is I'm projecting onto an off-white wall. What I should be doing is using a projector screen like something from Vividstorm, because that would give you a really great image. They're designed specifically to have images projected onto them. Right, let's move on and have a look at the user interface. So this is using a version of Android TV, which means you do get the Google Play Store, and that does give you access to lots of different apps to enjoy with this, like a smart TV. So let's have a look at Netflix. Something that I like to demonstrate TVs is something with David Attenborough. Here we go, Life in Color. Let's have a look at this. Now this is really, really sharp indeed. There's lots of details that can be seen, but more important, the color depth is lovely. And it really does have a really vibrant color on it, something that I wasn't expecting for something of this price range. It really does look very, very beautiful. And it is sharp as well. I mean, it is astonishingly sharp for what it is. Now it does have 2 HDMI ports, which you can connect devices to, including having ARC compatibility, so it will control an amplifier if you plug one in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in a PlayStation and I'm going to plug in a computer, because that's the 2 main reasons why people might buy one of these, one for gaming and one for work. So let's start with the PlayStation. So this is what it's like playing a PlayStation 4 game on the XGODY X1, and it does look very, very pretty indeed. To measure the lag, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the fire button and see when he fires it on the actual game itself. So pushing it now. So there is a bit of lag with that. It's still great to game on. It'll be fine for most games, but competitive first-person shooting where where time matters, that delay could cause problems. Okay, let's see what it looks like when we connect a computer up to it. And here it is connected via HDMI to my PC, and the 1080p resolution is fine. All the text is sharp, everything is readable, everything is great. And as you can see, this projector is currently £143 on the XGODY website. Right, let me show you one other thing that I have downloaded to test this projector. Now this image is very good for making sure that the projector is actually what it says it is with regards to screen resolution. And what we have here is a bunch of different images, and they're in each corner of the screen as well. The way that this image works is this top image has 1 pixel difference between the lines, and we can actually see separate lines, so that's fine. The second box is 2 pixels apart, and the third box is 3 pixels apart. We can actually see the individual pixels between the lines, and that means it is actually a 1080p projector. So ultimately what this is showing us is that there's good contrast between black and white. The pixels are all there. It is actually a native 1080p projector. and that's also great. So overall, we've already seen that the color's good. This is a good little projector. If you're interested in getting this projector, I'll leave some links in the video description. Remember, this is a budget projector, and the more you spend, the more features, the more quality you get. And I will be doing another video in a couple of days for the Formovie Theatre, which is a $3,500 laser ultra short throw projector, and that is an absolutely astonishingly good 4K projector. Watch this space.